Right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the VENDO, Amazon, and Walmart Growth Podcast. We've got two special guests with us today. Well, one particularly special, Clayton Atchinson from the Carbon 6 team. And I'll let you, Clay, introduce yourself in more detail in just a moment. And then we've got Greg, of course, from the VENDO team. One of our amazing media buyers, focusing on external media buying, so off Amazon, off Walmart media buying. And for those of you that are just tuning in for the first time, VENDO is a 360-degree full-service Amazon and Walmart management agency. We have a team of nearly 100 people managing all parts of your business, from marketing and advertising to creative, logistics, customer service, you name it, we do it. And so today we've got an exciting topic that we're going to be digging into, and very relevant, I think, and that's around the benefits and methods of driving paid media, primarily paid search or Google for that matter, back to Amazon. So Clay, thanks for joining today, man. If you want to go ahead and just give a little intro and let the people know who you are.
Yeah, man. I always hate these things, but I'll do my best. I'm Clayton Atchinson. I'm a community ambassador for Carbon 6. That's like a fancy way of saying I travel around a lot to events, meet people in the community. I do a lot of speaking events, things like that. So it's a lot of fun. I'm usually on a plane or on my way to one. But no, it's a lot of fun. And then just a little bit personally, I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, originally born and raised there, but I've been in Puerto Rico for the past 4.5 years. Really love it down there. Big baseball Cardinals fan. And yeah, that should be enough. Let's move on.
Thanks, Clay. And Greg, I think our audience has seen quite a bit of you, but if you want to just elaborate a little bit.
Yeah, for better or worse, they have. But I'm thrilled to be back on the podcast here. I'm a digital media buyer here at VENDO, and before that, I actually started selling on Amazon in 2012. So it's been 10 years of selling on Amazon, and I started my own brand on Amazon, built that up, sold it, then started my own agency, helping teach others to do the same thing. And then VENDO brought me in-house here about a year ago. And so now I manage our paid search and social department, all of the different platforms, whether that's Facebook, Meta, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, you name it, driving to Amazon, to Walmart, to D2C sites. There's all different strategies for those. And so that's what I oversee here at VENDO.
I should have said that. I'm also an Amazon seller. I have been for the past 5 years. I've been in e-commerce for about 10. I also did a lot of arbitrage from Amazon to eBay and Amazon to Walmart as well. I just realized I talked about nothing Amazon related.
Well, you made us jealous with all your worldly travels and Puerto Rico, Caribbean living, and so we're intrigued.
Happy I did okay.
Awesome. Well, we got a great conversation happening today, and so really excited to get digging in here. And just to add a little additional context, for those of you that are maybe newer sellers on Amazon, you're probably focused on Amazon advertising, and rightfully so. But there's a lot of opportunity to leverage paid social, paid search, and bring it back to Amazon for new brands, and definitely for mature brands. For the mature brands, you might reach a point where you start to plateau what you can do on Amazon. Ultimately, there's only a finite number of searches on Amazon. And if you want to keep greasing up that algorithm and taking up some additional market share, you got to think of different ways to bring external traffic. With the current kind of ecosystem and environment that we're seeing here, brands are looking for different ways to do performance marketing that can be more efficient. On Amazon can be quite efficient. Paid social getting more difficult, but paid search, with Google, we continue to see great success, especially when driving back to Amazon. So we're going to dig into some questions today and have a nice discussion around the different ways to do that, benefits. But first off, Greg, if you want to just kind of give an overview of how to create profitable on Amazon, off Amazon ads rather, and through paid search.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's something that we do for a ton of our brands here, whether they're old or new. We all know that Amazon is all about the algorithm and feeding it the right signals to be able to boost your product up in the Amazon search rankings. And so Google, like you talked about, is a great way to do that, to pay to play, really, to do that. And we find actually in our own studies that Google traffic is one of the best ways to boost the Amazon algorithm. And in fact, a sale that originates off platform, so somebody finds you on Google, goes to Amazon and ends up purchasing, gets 3 times the credit in the Amazon algorithm that a search that originates on Amazon does. So it's really important to be able to start driving external traffic to your listings in all different ways. One of those is, of course, branded traffic. A lot of brands don't consider that you can even drive branded search traffic to your own listings. Another is non-branded traffic. Of course, acquiring new customers is often much cheaper and more efficient through Google than on Amazon itself, where clicks are a lot more costly. So you can get a lot more volume for a lot less money through Google search, through non-branded Google search campaigns. And you can do this in addition to your existing D2C ads. So you can do like Amazon specific searches, for example. Instead of just searching shampoo, you might add in shampoo Amazon or something like that, where it's a customer that already is clearly looking to check out on Amazon. Just by making that process easy for them, not only are you capturing new sales and you're capturing new customers, new to brand customers, but like we talked about, you're also boosting the Amazon algorithm with all of those really positive signals. So when you run a campaign like that, there's several different things, and we'll talk about each of those today. Of course, the keywords, whether that's branded or non-branded or many other tricks to that we'll talk about. But also, especially the link is so important, because in Google, you can insert the exact link, the exact URL that you want to use. And so that gives you a ton of power to unlock in the way that you do that. So that is really where we start to marry Vendo and PixelMe, is in maximizing the juice that you get out of that URL. So Clayton, you want to talk about some of the different things that you can do with that URL when driving traffic to Amazon?
Yeah, I mean, to be very clear, number one, like anything PixelMe related, we built PixelMe like Carbon 6 did with Amazon. So we always say, be 100% TOS compliant. We don't recommend using super URLs. People do that. I think there's, like we were talking offline, that the level of success with that, just hearing through the neighborhood, is that's been changing pretty quickly. But with PixelMe, without PixelMe, just in general, I'm a big believer in the importance of sending off Amazon traffic onto Amazon. And you brought up a really good point, and I'll answer your question. But before that, like a lot of times people will say, well, why would I send traffic to Amazon and not to my own Shopify store? And it's like, well, if you're already having a huge success on your Shopify store, then why wouldn't you want like a secondary like form of revenue? You made a great point about shampoo Amazon. Sometimes people just want to shop on Amazon. You're not going to catch my mom buying on a Shopify site. It's not going to happen. That she's going to think people are going to steal her identity and she'll be dead tomorrow or something. But she trusts Amazon, so she buys there. And so, like, long story short, I just tell people, if you have the budget, do both. If you're only on Amazon, I tell people too, start selling on Walmart, start selling on your own Shopify store. Like, always diversify. So I tell Amazon sellers all the time to be thinking as like business owners, not just Amazon sellers. Think bigger. But yeah, I mean, and as far as what you can do with the link from Google, they'll let you send it to just about anywhere, right? I think when you start getting into the weeds is when you start doing things that are against Amazon TOS, which is pretty easy to figure out what it is. They just want you sending it to the Amazon page or to your Amazon store page. There's a lot of tactics there. I know a lot of people that will send traffic first to their Amazon store page, figure out what's converting there, and then send traffic directly to their product pages. So sort of as like a filter. So to like minimize, poorly converting ASINs, they'll just send it to the ones that on the storefront are working well. There's a lot of people that run coupons to specific sites on Amazon, and you can send traffic there. Lots of stuff you guys can do. And I know from just talking with you in the past, Greg, that you guys test all of this stuff. The first time we talked about PixelMe, the software that helps like the regular everyday user do this kind of stuff, you guys were like miles ahead. Like PixelMe was catching up to what you guys had like and I don't mean this like to be rude, but like Frankenstein together. You're like, we got this team that does this team does that, and it all works. It's beautiful. But I think there's a lot of flexibility there. So I'll be interested to hear what your like favorite tactics are. But I like the idea of going to the storefront first, figuring out what's working, and then nailing down, and obviously paying attention to what keywords are converting and moving spend from the ones that are converting to or away from the ones that aren't converting to the ones that are.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something we test out really for every brand, is we never want to just assume that we know it's going to work. But like you're talking about, we find that for most brands, driving to the brand storefront is the best option for them. Usually that converts the best. And oftentimes for a lot of brands, driving direct to Amazon converts even far better than their D2C site. So that's another thing. I understand it's less profitable for some brands, but often the conversion rate makes up for it.
I didn't even know you were going to say that, actually. We hadn't talked about that, like the whole brand, like store page first and then the product. But yeah, and that's the whole reason for the brand referral bonus, right? They're trying to compete with Shopify. They're trying to say, hey, instead of 15%, we'll only take 5%. And everybody knows that Amazon converts better than like any Shopify page almost in the world. So, that's like when you start picking it out, like it's similar to a level playing field. The caveat being brand referral bonus is only in the US. So if you're running a Shopify store in Europe, like it's much less of a fair ground as far as how much you're paying to a third party.
Yeah, and I think it's important to call out too, and I know, Greg, this comes up a lot when brands are deciding whether or not to send traffic, especially from Google to Amazon, is, I don't want to cannibalize my D2C business, right? And so there are some workarounds that we have come up with to kind of, ease into the idea of driving Google to Amazon. And if you want to kind of just describe a couple of those examples, I think that'd be helpful.
Oh, yeah. Well, the easiest one, of course, is the keywords like we talked about, just Amazon specific keywords in addition to what you're already doing. That's just a bonus, right? You're not taking away from any additional searches. You're not detracting from your D2C site at all. But adding just Amazon specific keywords, both to your branded and non-branded traffic is an easy win. Also, you can segment by audience. So you may not necessarily know the people who are shopping on your Amazon store, but you do know the people who are shopping on your own site. So you can pull an audience list there and either do targeting or observation audiences based off of that to be able to segment it, not just by keyword, but also be able to segment by audience is really important as well.
Yeah, excellent. I think that's important because, in the Amazon world, brands, sellers, marketers, et cetera, people can be quick to jump to conclusions around what you can and cannot do. And I think the brands and the companies out there that are really thinking outside the box and giving their will find a way. And so just keep that in mind. You just got to kind of segment, the traffic, the pre-existing, and then the prospective traffic, the keywords, et cetera. And then you're not going to be cannibalizing, and you're going to also see an uptick on Amazon while still seeing, your run rate on D2C.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would just say that a lot of people are in the reverse situation too, right? Like they're starting on Amazon and now they're trying to get to D2C. And it's like, if you are running ads to Amazon, you definitely should be, using pixels so that you can retarget. You're not going to have the same amount of data that you're going to have on your own page to know how far along the purchasing process they got, if they added to cart, if they actually checked out, if they're a repeat buyer, things like that. But you can figure out who's clicking on these ads, who's searching these products. And if you're sending that traffic to Amazon right now, but you're in the future wanting to go to D2C, then you have that asset of those audiences that in the future you can push to your regular website. So anybody that's running off Amazon ads, even if you don't plan on right away opening up your own site, use pixels so you can retarget them for everything. So I've talked to more people than I care to admit that were just I run tons of ads. I'm like, great, are you using pixels? They're like, what's a pixel? I'm like, damn. Okay, let me.
It's all lost, yeah.
You're right. It's just an extra free asset. So
yeah, so you got to be capturing who those people are. And I think, Nick, like you were talking about, it's so easy for Amazon sellers to get stuck in the box of low profitability, no customer data, and you just focus there. But that's really not true. Your profitability can be improved tremendously. I mean, like we talked about, you save 10% on your referral fee just by using an Amazon attribution link, and no customer data can also somewhat be solved, or at least some workarounds, by using a tool like PixelMe to be able to capture that customer data.
Yeah, and the last thing, and I hope I'm not like jumping ahead in the interview or anything too much, but the last thing I would say there is that when you are, having these audiences, you create these audiences. If you're selling somebody, a makeup bag, and then, a month later, you launch another makeup brush, or I don't wear makeup, I'm bad at this example, should have picked something else, but you get the idea that you can, like, if you're launching on Amazon, now you have this perfect audience that you already know is interested in this niche or this brand of products. So that goes back to the idea of starting to think as a business owner, not just an Amazon seller. How do I do product launches? I highly recommend that people use audiences that they already know are interested in their niche of products. That's just an asset that you have if you use Pixels, otherwise you don't. And hats off to you guys at Vendo, because I know you guys have been crushing that for a long, long time.
Yeah, thanks, Clayton. And we've talked about how we can get pixels through links, which is super valuable. Of course, because you can't put a pixel on Amazon. Greg, could you share a little bit about, and this might be separate from Google advertising, but a lot of times people want to know how do landing pages come into play, right? Is it for a pixel? Is it for an email capture? Like, how would you describe the use of landing pages? Like, do you want to use them for Google Ads at all? If you have a pixelated link, is there a need there? Or just if you could explain a little bit around that.
Yeah, I think there's all different strategies here, and it depends upon how valuable that customer data is to you. And there's some pros and cons. So on one hand, it's good to use a landing page because you can do an email capture, of course, if you send somebody there, particularly if you combine that with a coupon, drive them to a landing page, 10% off or something if they enter their email. That's really useful. And of course, that helps a little bit with measurement. Nowadays, however, with Amazon attribution, that measurement is not as important because it's embedded in the link itself. But if that email is really valuable to you, then I think that's good. The other thing that we've seen is that it can help your conversion rate to drive to a landing page because your on-page conversion rate is a very important metric for Amazon. However, another thing that we found in our testing is that if you use an Amazon attribution link, and you connect it to the right source. So when you set up an Amazon attribution link, you tell it Google, you tell it Facebook, you tell it TikTok, whatever. You're obviously going to be driving much more traffic to your Amazon page and your conversion rate is going to decrease. However, when you use one of those Amazon attribution links, you don't incur the same penalty for a lower conversion rate from that traffic. So that using an Amazon attribution link insulates you from those conversion rate drops. And that's one reason where a landing page might be helpful. For example, if you're not using an Amazon attribution link, you would want to use a landing page because then you are going to see a detrimental effect to your conversion rate.
All right, I gotta jump in here because you just dropped a golden nugget, and I want to make sure that people heard that because that's huge, right? So there's been this idea for a long time that you don't want to just send a bunch of traffic to your PDP that's unqualified because it's going to tank your conversion rate, which is going to tank your ranking. So basically have the opposite effect of what you want to do, right? Now that still is true in a lot of ways, but what you just shared there, Greg, just to run it back a little bit here, is that by using an attribution link and setting it up to say this came from Google, Amazon will not ding you as much for that traffic that you drive that doesn't convert to a sale. In fact, they might even boost your ranking because they like to see that you're driving Google traffic. They want to incentivize you. And so because you're driving that traffic, you're maybe getting some add to carts. The Amazon marketing machine can now retarget to those people and try to bring them back, right? Because we got to remember Amazon's advertising on the product's behalf too. And so that's been I think a pretty big shift that's really just started to get out there this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a big change that we've seen quite recently. But like you're talking about, there's also now it's not that it's no longer a detrimental effect. There's also a positive effect of driving external traffic to your listing, especially from some of these newer platforms like TikTok. We found that a lot of brands right before the big tentpole events like Prime Early Access sale or even Prime Day over the summer, if you just drive a bunch of traffic to your listing, whether that's organic or paid, using one of those Amazon attribution links, that can have a really positive effect on the Amazon algorithm, even though your conversion rate might be lower.
Yeah, I ran a case study, and I can talk about it if you guys like, that proves just that. But two things that, like when Greg was saying all this brilliant stuff that made me think of that I want to get out there is, number one, if you guys are like interested, you start playing around with this, anybody that's listening, make sure that all of your links are deep links, right? Whenever somebody clicks on the link, you don't want, like, if you don't know what deep linking is, you don't want somebody to click on the link and it open up their Safari or their Google Chrome and tell them to log into Amazon if they're on mobile. If they're on mobile, you want them opening up their Amazon app where they're already logged in. They can add to cart and buy with one click. So that's a big thing for conversion. I've seen a lot of people run tests, and I went in and looked at it, and it wasn't deep linking. So like, that's another thing. This is multifaceted, right? It's not like beginner level stuff, but if you get it right, it's huge. And then earlier, Nick, you were asking like, hey, a lot of people are really hesitant to push people to Amazon. Why would they do that if they already got a Shopify store that's successful? My quick answer at that time was, diversification, multiple revenue streams, et cetera. But another one that I've seen people do is just basically use Amazon as like a marketing platform. And by that, I mean that if you know like the LTV of your customer and you have like a subscribe and save item or a item that they're going to buy over and over again, two things. Number one, people might not be ready to buy from your Shopify store because they don't know you as a brand, but they feel more comfortable trying things out on Amazon. They understand the return policy, et cetera. So people will like run, and sell on Amazon just to try to get people to try their brand because a lot of people are shopping there. And then if they are running Google ads to their Amazon, so in this theory, right, you're running Google ads with a pixel. So you know who's clicking, you don't know who's converting necessarily, but you're running the ad, you're collecting this audience. Now you have people signing up and trying your product on Amazon. You can retarget that same people with coupons to your Shopify store where you're not going to pay 15% on recurring purchases. And so people are using Amazon basically as a marketing platform to grow brand awareness. But if they do have that audience, they can still retarget them and then pull them over to their Shopify store. I hope that made sense, but I know people doing that, especially with larger ticket, higher subscription items.
Yeah, certainly. I think that's a great example of, a solution to the current challenges that a lot of brands are facing with rising acquisition costs, right? And that being even more amplified on the D2C side. So, acquire the customer where it's cheaper, and then make sure you're checking all the right boxes to maximize that opportunity as far as data collection, pixel, email, what have you, so that you can then acquire them at that efficient cost, remarket to them and bring them wherever you want them to go, or really wherever they want to go, right? And that's kind of the changing landscape that we're seeing. It's about being where the customers are, not having them be where you want them to be. So if they want to be on Amazon, you should be catering to them. If they want to be on D2C, if they want to go in store, this is this omni-channel changing landscape that we continue to see evolve, especially as retail media becomes more prominent as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then that was a big segue. Like I took us way off track, but I know you were talking about the importance of, sending off Amazon traffic to Amazon and the organic keyword rank. And we've run some case studies at Carbon 6 that have shown the power of that. Everybody keeps using the number 3. Like I think Greg, you said that earlier, like a off Amazon sale is like 3 times.
We found an off Amazon sale has about 3 times the power in the algorithm of an on Amazon sale.
I've heard that number a lot. I didn't. We don't have like that specific number. I'm sure it depends on the category and everything. But I'm glad I keep hearing it, so it's got to be true, right?
The rule, yeah, rule of thumb, right?
But no, our founding like has been very similar. That if Amazon PPC is expensive, it's just getting more expensive, and it's extremely competitive. Like it's the lowest hanging fruit. I don't have a percentage like fact, but I'm gonna make one up. I would say 90% of Amazon sellers are not doing Google ads or off Amazon traffic. Maybe it's 80. I don't know the exact percent, but it's high, right? And so like the people that are differentiating themselves, I think are winning. And if you just take a step back and say, what would Amazon want to incentivize? Of course, they would want to incentivize people that are spending money on Google and Facebook and TikTok and anywhere else on the World Wide Web and bringing people back to Amazon. Amazon wants ads everywhere all over the web, bringing people to Amazon. It only makes sense that they're incentivizing people with that, with things like organic keyword rank increases on Amazon for that behavior, which is exactly what we found. And would take way too long to go through the case study on this call, but that's what we're finding.
Well, no, but that's a great call out, and I think something that we should definitely tap into just a little bit more. So we were talking about this a little bit earlier, Clayton, but could you just elaborate a little bit more on how Amazon's detecting the keyword that search on Google and what that's doing on Amazon?
Yeah, so I mean, this is like, it's multifaceted, because if you ask me, hey, does TikTok traffic help your organic ranking? I would say yes. Now, I can't give you a specific statistic. I can't, but if you go to Seller's Alley with Lazard, they've done a case study on this. And TikTok's different than Google, because nobody's going on TikTok and searching, leather belt. They're just scrolling, and then there's an ad for a leather belt. Now that traffic is going to Amazon, but they just know it's coming from TikTok. They don't know, much else other than that. But if you're on Google, it's a search engine, right? People are searching for leather belts in my head, because I bought a leather belt today. People are searching leather belt. So the idea is that when that traffic gets sent from Google to Amazon, that Amazon through metadata knows what the original search term was. So in my honest opinion, I think if I had to say, gun to my head, what is the most powerful keyword rank for external traffic? I would say Google exact keyword match from Google. And in the next sentence, if I was allowed to continue to speak, I would say that all off traffic helps raise your organic ranking. Like your BSR goes up, obviously, because you're pushing more traffic, but just in general, we've seen a high tides rise all ships sort of scenario with people that elevate brands have shown that, Seller's Alley, I think you guys have shown it, and Carbon 6. So it just, people are running different case studies in different ways, but coming to the same conclusion.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's been kind of a resounding theme too, that we've been seeing stats and case studies come out from all different types of, industry leaders. So definitely a lot of truth behind that. And I've been trying to find it, but there was a leaked Amazon internal document 6, maybe 8 months ago. And I wish I would have saved it. Someone had posted it on LinkedIn, a screenshot, and it was basically a leaked document where Amazon was essentially saying, we are going to value Google traffic more than any other external traffic. I don't think the number 3 was there, but it kind of kicked off this wave, right? For a lot of people. And so, if I can find that, I'll definitely add it into the podcast notes. But no, this has been great, guys. And I know we're kind of getting near the end here. Greg, any last comments on the topics before we kind of?
Yeah, well, I think one thing to point out is, this whole time we've been talking about the indirect benefits of driving Google traffic to Amazon, right? It boosts your keyword ranking. You can embed pixels in there to capture that audience. You can get the Amazon attribution bonus, all of those things. But it's important to keep in mind that driving Google traffic to your listings can also have just a straight positive ROAS, right? We see for many brands a 2 or 3 times ROAS from Google to Amazon ads, just direct with the attribution. So it's a really good way to spend your advertising dollars that's maybe more efficient than what you're doing on Amazon itself. And I just don't want to lose that in the conversation.
Absolutely. And I would say in some circumstances, I know people that don't even need a great ROAS. If they have a high LTV and it's subscribed customers, there's some people that are just burn the money. I just need new customers. But I know other people that you're exactly right, Greg. We're talking about all these intricacies. You can make more money. It can be profitable. It can be a new revenue stream.
Yeah. Throw $1,000 at Google ads and watch what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that one thing I would add, because I know we were wrapping up, is just that sometimes I'll tell people about this and I get really, really excited. And then they'll start they'll be like, I've been running ads for 5 days and I'm not seeing the results. It's it doesn't happen overnight. Amazon attribution specifically has delays. It's not live. There's delayed data. It doesn't give data until there's been at least 10 clicks. They wait until the product has been shipped and delivered, because otherwise the person could cancel it, and they don't want to show, attribution and be promising brand referral bonuses to people when it hasn't been shipped. And then there's a window where they still won't give you the brand referral bonus for, I think, 45 days. The long story short is that this works, but it does take a little bit of patience. Like, believe in the system, believe that it works. And just like anything else, continue to work at it.
Excellent. No, totally. You gotta test and find what works, and then rinse and repeat. Well, this has been fantastic, and I think a final kind of just stat to leave everybody off with here. And I don't have the source from this stat, but Neil Patel had the source for it at a conference recently, and there's varying stats in this regard, but it's around what percentage of product searches start on Amazon versus start on Google. And, depending who you talk to, it could go both ways. But the moral of the story here is that even if there's more product searches starting on Amazon, it's a close call with Google and off Amazon traffic. The stat that Neil Patel quoted was 61% of product searches begin on Amazon, and the other 39% off Amazon, primarily Google search. So regardless of all the bells and whistles that we just talked about, you got to just remember that, right? You've got a great ready-to-buy customer base on Amazon, but you also have another big chunk of ready-to-buy customers on Google, or maybe not as ready to buy, but almost there. And so again, be where your customers are, and you'll see growth. So hopefully everyone found great value from the topics today. Before we sign off, Clayton, where can the people find you, get in touch with you?
Yeah, so Clayton Atchinson is my name. LinkedIn's great. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. My email is clayton@carbon6.io. If anybody wants to get in touch with me, happy to help, happy to chat, happy to learn, whatever. Yeah.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Really, really appreciate your time today. I know you got a jet set somewhere now, and maybe try to stay away from some natural disasters. So
we'll see if the storm goes away. It might be going to New York in a couple hours. Might be staying put. We're gonna see. But I appreciate the kind words.
Yeah, no, safe travels, and thanks everyone for tuning in. You know where to find us: YouTube, Apple, Spotify. You can email us at hello@vendocommerce.com and leave your questions in the comments below. We'll see you all again in another Tuesday episode.